Hello viewers, Super GT here. Welcome to the final round of the ORL Porsche Supercup. That was me facing the wrong way. Yes, we are having our Australian connection problems again, but here we are on the grid. I am in 6th place as per usual, and well, I actually did a really good qualifying lap, so we are going to try and capitalise on that by starting well here at Circuit of the Americas. But no, I stall and go from 6th place down to, well, 13th, 14th, 15th. Does Wildwing go past me? Yes, he does. Down into 15th out of 16 at the start. So obviously an awful start so far. Back up to 13th. So let's see what we can do from this position here. Up the inside of me then, and side by side with Ted as we go into the S's, the fearsome S's. Now, anyone who's played this game around this track will know how bad these curbs are. You have to be so careful. Make sure you don't hit them at the wrong angle or at any angle, and you'll probably be okay, but they really are an absolute nightmare, so you have to be really careful on all these curbs. So up ahead is getting really rather tasty. We've got Papaya up there in 10th in the green car. Ted just in front of us. We're going to go for a cutback move as we head down to the hairpin of turn number 11. Up the inside, it looks like we've got the move done quite nicely. Alongside Papaya then, and just ahead of Ted. Decent move, moving up into 11th. But I don't quite get the run, and I wanted to block a bit earlier than that, but I'm a bit close to Ted. I can't really turn across now because he's pretty much right on me. He has the front bumper of his car alongside, and then into this one, braking just into the side of Papaya, 3 wide going in, but then on the exit I come out worse. So back down into 12th, and then side by side then with Ted and Papaya through the long right into the long left. So it's a good overtaking opportunity, but Ted was kind of going for the move on Papaya. Knee looking around the outside of me through that turn. As we come into the long right-hander of 16, 17 and 18, I'm looking at a circuit map, and this is actually technically 3 corners, although it feels like 1 corner with 2 stages, if anything to me. Into the penultimate turn, through there quite nicely. Ted running slightly wide, coming back on, and then into the final turn, GFR, Matt and Papaya make a bit of contact, and then that's Matt going wide. I've got the run on him into 11th, and now I've got the run on Papaya and Ted, looking to do a double move into turn 1. It obviously gets very wide here, so you can go for that move. I look up the inside, it's very narrow, get past Papaya quite nicely, make contact with Ted, but then Ted's got the inside line for turn number 2. So he takes 9th, I take 10th. We can hopefully go on and try to catch up the guy ahead. I make a bit of a mistake there on the curb. Try to rejoin here, just make contact there with Papaya. Unfortunately, rejoining the circuit just about ahead of this gang. I get done in by Muffin around my outside into turn number 7. The curbs here around this corner here, 8 and 9, very tricky to get right. But I don't have to worry too much because I'm on the outside for 8 and then on the inside for 9. But he just about gets the run on me, quite annoyingly. So then coming downhill towards the hairpin, he's got the front bumper just alongside, so I kind of have to give him room there. And I was thinking about doing the cutback, but to be honest, that was a perfect move done by him. I could not quite get that done. So then it's a drag race down the back straight. Let's see what we can do. Just changing gear halfway between the 8000 and the red line, and then going past Papaya, so he felt guilty about the contact through the S's, so decided to let me back past, so fair enough to him for doing that. So they're side by side with Muffin. Let's see what we can do then through turn number 13. So I let him go for the inside, intending to cut back on the exit, and we do, but this is going to give me the outside, so I'm going to intend to cut back once again. So he's going to go in deep, and then that has happened. I have gone through the cutback, but they're coming into the long right. We're going to make contact here. So I felt as though I turned in at sort of a suitable time, and I felt that he didn't really turn in early enough. So I'm going to kind of carry on with that one. Let me know what you think. So we do have a very large gap there. As you can see, maybe 3 or 4 seconds up to Jacob Balkett in 9th. So the rest of the race here is going to probably be spent trying to catch him up. And so it proved by lap 11, so this is midway through the final lap, or the 10th lap, sorry. It says 11 there, but of course the first lap was the rolling up lap. So then coming downhill towards 11, he doesn't get quite the run he intended out of 10. So I do have the run here into the hairpin, and I kind of just have a flinch where I just kind of forget to steer for a half a second and go out wide. He did question whether to give the place back, but that was 100% my fault that I pushed him a little bit wide. So not requesting that position be given back, because it really wasn't his fault at all. So down the back straight, longer than the main straight I think this one, looking for the 4th marker on the right hand side for our braking zone, and there we are, hitting the apex perfectly at the end of that straight. Now we have about a third of a lap left to try and get one position back. Now of course the grid for race 2 is the result of this race reversed, so any position I get here will get me more points, but I will have to start a bit further back on the grid. We make contact again there, but I'm just going to let him go through the 180-degree turn here. So we have 2 more turns left to do. Can I gain that position back, or will I be finishing in 10th place? It goes a little bit wide there actually, but then into the final turn I had the full intention of going up the inside or going for a cutback. I forced him to the inside actually. He goes defensive, and on the exit, because he went in on such a narrow line, doesn't get quite the run he intended. So I'm up the inside and then just about getting 9th place in a very close finish. So a very good race at the end there between myself and Jacob Boket. There are the final standings. So Nova and Force 1, both the F4H guys, winning that one comfortably, with SteveAlvarez in 3rd. So I finished 9th, which means I will start 8th on the grid for race number 2. And here we go, we're going on 3:45. So then away we go from the line. No such stalling issues this time. I made sure of that. Make sure that I was revving the car up quite highly to make sure I get off the line properly. So into turn 1, Tiski goes quite narrow, and then just causes a bit of carnage, goes into the back of Popeye, and then it triggers, well, that, whatever you call that. Jacob Boket there gets through into 3rd, but then amazingly Force 1 here, who started at the back, into 5th, and Nova behind me, who won the race, race 1, starting in last, already up to 7th. So I'm in an F4H sandwich here, which probably is quite a tricky place to be, given that they are the fastest 2 drivers in the lobby. But then let's see how we can deal with that. So the race is underway. That was a safety car period we just had there after the carnage of the start. So then into turn 1, braking just after the 200 banner on the right hand side, into a late apex, getting on the throttle up the inside of Jacob Boket, taking 5th place. And then as we can see up ahead here, it's getting a little bit cosy as we enter the S's on lap number 2. That's GFR Ted and Force 1 side by side, but it's the guy ahead we want to look at here. It's Matt going all over the curb, very wide. And around the outside of Ted, we're side by side, and behind us is 3 abreast. It's very close racing here in the Porsche Supercup. And then into this turn number 8, going in for a late apex, and getting that curb quite nicely there. And then Ted having a bit of an incident there, all over the curb, gets his end of his tyres. I'm sideways into the hairpin. Somehow I managed to get it all together, go up the inside for quite an epic overtake. Really not quite sure how I managed to do that. That could have ended very badly. Look behind there. Well, there's about 80 cars in the space of about 1 car, and then, well, it has not ended well back there at all. That is not where you want to be in this reverse grid. You really do want to make the most of being at the front. If you are at the front, just get away while you can. Into turn number 12, we make contact twice. That is Nova through into 3rd, so I'm down into 4th now. Ted and I making a bit of contact, and well, Nova, I kind of expected him to go through. He is the fastest guy in the lobby. He was definitely going to get past at some point, so I'm not really worried about that. So we do just lose a little bit of time. That brings us back into the pack a little bit more. But then looking behind, actually, Ted getting swamped by the rest of the pack. That kind of helps me out, gives me a gap of about 200 feet, which I can just have a bit more breathing space with which to concentrate. So now it's just a matter of trying to pick my way past Wildwin, who was the original winner of the incidents on lap 1, getting through into the lead. He's now been passed by Force 1, who's out in the lead, and then we have Nova just ahead there in the white car in 2nd, with Wildwin just ahead. So coming into the first turn on lap number 5, I kind of wanted to just get past him really as quickly as possible, so I went for a lunge, quite a late lunge, and luckily that first corner just opens up quite nicely. It's very wide entry, so you can do that. And then up into third, so just setting a good lap time there to try and get away from the pack. But then by lap number 7, we did have our teammate GTR Blaze on our tail. As you can see there, the proximity arrow going orange, so that tells you that he's getting very close. The pressure got very intense actually, because I did not just have one guy behind me, but I had two. I had Davin mate as well, so two very quick drivers on my tail. And to be honest, I think I drove really well, because I had these two guys on my tail for a good 3 or 4 laps up until this point. So I knew that I had to set a good sector here, or a good lap, because setting a good sector will just give me that buffer. And the closer you get to the end of a race with a bigger gap, the guys behind kind of just think, well, we're not going to catch up with that guy, let's just fight it amongst ourselves. So that was my intention here, just to try to set a good lap time or good sector time, just to increase that buffer, to make the guys behind me think that I am too far away to catch to the end of the race. So I gained about 100 feet through that sector, as you can see there, gaining quite a lot. And then Davin and Blaze kind of just went all out war from here to the end of the race. They started battling with each other more than working together to try and catch up with me. So at the end of the race, lap number 10 of 10, coming through to finish in an amazing third, which I'm really pleased about. Being beaten of course by Force 1 and Nova, as I'd probably expect. They did really well to come through the pack so quickly, but I would have expected them to win, given that they were that far up quite early. There are the final standings then, finishing third at the end of that race. Davin doing well to finish 4th and Blaze in 5th. And that, unfortunately, is the end of the ORL Porsche Supercup. I hope you have enjoyed it, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the season. Let me know your thoughts on today's racing. That isn't the end of the league racing though, because we do have the V8 Supercars coming back to the channel. And then in a couple of weeks' time, we have the Ferrari Challenge in the 458. So plenty more racing to come your way. So that is by no means the end of the league racing, plenty more to come. So in a way, it was a mixed season. I did have a couple of bad rounds, including Monza and Spa, but then we do have some very good races at Hockenheim and here, where I finished in 3rd in a couple of the races, which in a field of this quality I'm always pleased to do. Now I would say that for those of you who want to improve your skills at Forza, joining these league races is something that I would definitely recommend. Racing with these really fast drivers really does improve your skills. But that is all from me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video and of course the whole season. Look out for the V8 Supercars and the Ferrari Challenge coming very soon to the channel. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new and like to see more like this. Do hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and I shall see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.